Today is August 8th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live, presented by Mungan Nass, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, apparently, John Mozeliak's a genius and pushed all the right buttons, and the Cardinals are not going to lose again this season.
I think that's the right formula. That's the one you go for.
All right. Hey, Royal Banks presented.
Yeah, it is interesting that he all along had identified what they needed and what all of us said all along until the bright, shiny object got thrown out there of Juan Soto. And we all got greedy. And yeah, you'd love to have that guy. And but Mozeliak stayed the course, got two guys that they needed. And first time through, I can see why he liked both of them and why they will fit here and why they'll be successful here.
Yeah, and you know what? You gave up nothing. Like that's the whole time too. I mean, we spent how much time talking about what you would have to give up for a guy like Frankie Montas, or what did Seattle give up to get the guy from the Reds? Yes, Castillo from the Reds. Like, look how much they gave up to get him. And just throughout history, I mean, the big, you look at last year what the Dodgers gave up to get Scherzer, names like that. And yeah, okay, Johan Oviedo was having a good year. Yeah, Harrison Bader's won a Gold Glove. But in the end, that's what you give up, and you still have all of your top 100 prospects still sitting there in the system.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. I agree with you. And do the Cardinals still have flaws? Of course they do. Ollie Marmol had to walk a tightrope with the bullpen all weekend long. Let's face it, yesterday the bullpen wasn't very good until you got to Helsley, and he gave up a bomb. It didn't matter. It was an irrelevant home run, but they found a way to win by, they hit home runs and hitting the ball all over the yard. That was great. But what I'm seeing out of this lineup that I like, Joe, is reversing for the hitters the strikeout walk numbers. They walk 8 times. Mm-hmm. Usually you see them striking out a dozen times and walking 2. You flip those numbers and you've got a whole different offense.
Yeah, I mean, one of those guys, Paul DeYoung. Look at what he's doing, walking more, not striking out as much, and coming up with 3 home runs now since he's been called back up.
Yeah, and the big hit the other day, the double down the right field line. Yep. What's really fun about that series is that almost everybody found a way to get something done to help the cause, and that's pretty cool. And that's one of those things that can really energize a clubhouse because everybody's chipping in. I've said for a long, long time, I'm not saying it's the best feeling in the world, but there's nothing quite like the feeling of team accomplishment, a true team accomplishment. That's what they're going through right now. As I said, the bullpen still needs some work. In my view, got some guys that are going to have to suck it up and pitch on days where they don't feel 100%. You can't leave Ollie with a big lead and only the downside of the bullpen available that day. You can't do that to your teammates. That's got to step up a little bit.
It does seem like the Cardinals are slowly, and they've been toying with it a lot this year, but it does seem like they are fully invested now in going with a split closer by committee. That it's going to be Helsley one day, and if Helsley closes, he gets the next day off, and they're going to go with Gallegos that next day and go back and forth. I don't love it.
I think it's only because Helsley can't go every day.
Right, and I don't
forced into it.
Maybe once you get to a postseason schedule, maybe that changes because there are a lot more off days in the postseason if you're planning on making a deep run. But when you add guys like Stratton and now you get Cabrera back, I think you're in Hicks. You kind of have his defined role now in the bullpen. I think you're slowly starting to see, you have 2 different routes you can go to finish the game and get those last 9, 12 outs of the game.
Yeah, but what I don't like is that it starts to become, here's our 4-man bullpen tonight, here's our 4-man bullpen tomorrow. I think now maybe it's innovative, maybe I'm behind the times. I think it's a dangerous way to go. What you need is a couple of big blowout wins, so you can pitch the Strattons and the McFarlands on a night to finish a game. That's what they need.
Yeah, and maybe they get those going to Colorado, going to a very bad Rockies team the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, before a big series coming up against Milwaukee back at Busch Stadium this weekend. I think for fans that believe in Cardinal Devil magic, I think they're starting to see that come around once again in the form of Newt Barr, who's starting to get every day at bats. He has kind of been given that right field position now, with Juan Yepes still on the mend and Brendan Donovan maybe falling a little bit out of favor with the Cardinals,
which I don't get.
Yeah, but Lars Nootbaar, though, he is making some really nice plays in the outfield. He's getting his at bats and getting his hits. He is proving that he belongs up here on this big league club.
Oh, there's no question. I've been talking about him for a year now, and I think he has all the tools. I don't know how much he can hit for an average, but every other tool is plus power, plus speed, plus glove, plus arm. And I'm not saying he can't hit 280 or 290. Maybe he can. I don't know. But you got to really like the guy. I don't think it should be a Donovan versus Newt Barr deal. I think Ollie's got to be more willing to mix and match in the middle infield and even in left field. Yeah, I know Niels, you need him to get the lion's share of the at-bats and take advantage, but you got three guys with legit on-base percentage. You got Goldschmidt and Arenado. Go look, Joe. Nobody else on the team has a legit on-base percentage except Brendan Donovan. And you had a good weekend. You had your 1-2 hitters doing fine. I think Donovan's got to play more than he's playing and hit at the top of the order.
Speaking of Nolan Arenado, he was named the National League Player of the Week for what he did this past week against both the Cubs and the Yankees. A .476 batting average, 3 home runs, and an OPS of 1.560. Nolan Arenado was just absolutely on fire. And you start, it's an MV2 between him and Paul Goldschmidt. I still think Goldschmidt's running away with it, but at this point, maybe you start to worry about Arenado stealing some votes away from his own teammates.
Yeah, and the Mets are really good. Having seen the Mets several times and the Yankees, albeit without Rizzo and Stanton, the Mets are really good. Who's their MVP? Is it the easy answer, Alonso? Who's taken 2 years to get to where they need him is Lindor. And they stayed with him. There's a guy that I would have been crabbing about him for a year.
They paid him too much money. They didn't have a choice.
But they didn't have to hit him third.
Right.
And they just kept him there and kept him there and kept him there. I would have been pulling my hair out, but he is producing. That is a really nice lineup. They don't have the power of the Yankees, but they're better hitters top to bottom.
We haven't done a show together since Friday, so I didn't get a chance to talk to you about Quintana or Montgomery. What did you think of what you saw out of the two guys?
There's no reason why they're not going to be successful. They're everything. They're prototypical Cardinal starters. And is either one of them a 1 or a 2? I don't know. Probably not. But they're middle of the rotation guys at worst. They get ground balls. You've got a great defense behind them. There's no reason they're not going to give you their guys, unlike Hudson and maybe a couple of others. They're guys that I'm going to expect 6 or 7 innings every time out.
Yeah, they are. They have been. I think Montgomery, if not for the cramps, would have gone another inning in his outing too. 2 hits in the first and absolutely nothing after that against his old team. In a new stadium, just had so much going against him, but was able to withstand all of that and put out a very good effort in the game.
Terrific.
So yeah, it was fun to see. And then when you look at it and you see that the Padres were swept by the Dodgers, even though they have Soto and Bell in their lineup, you kind of look at it and you tip your cap to Mo for what he did at the trade deadline.
Absolutely right. And we didn't really mention Paul DeYoung this weekend, who his comeback story is truly remarkable. I don't know that he's going to ever be an all-star again, not ruling it out, but for him to battle back and have success and find moments, that's what they need from him. Hit 6th or 7th and have Paul DeYoung moments. That's what they need from this guy.
This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live. Hey, tomorrow we will have a full preview of the Rockies and Cardinals series out in Denver, coming your way tomorrow afternoon. But until then, we are brought to you each and every day by Mung & St. Louis Acura and Rammer, your friends at Royal Banks.
Royal Banks has expanded over the years, but in each and every location, it still feels like your local bank. St. Louis, East Side, and Granite and Jerseyville, St. Charles, and in 3 new locations in Northeast Missouri. They're all Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Daily Cards Live on ClaibsOnline.com.
St. Louis Acura has almost 200 pre-owned vehicles in stock with inventory arriving daily and can offer the best trade-in value. While others raise their prices and fees, we choose to earn your repeat and referral business by not taking advantage of the current market situation. We invest in our team, becoming one of St. Louis's top places to work and fastest growing companies. St. Louis Acura remains committed to becoming better than ever for you. Located at Manchester and Mason Roads.